What's up, everybody? Big Herc, Prison Talk Live Stream. Hope everybody had a great weekend. I hope you guys are all doing good. I know some of the people out there having a little rough time right now. Shout out to the victims out there at Hurricane Harvey that were hit in Houston. I hope you guys are getting everything cleaned up, and I hope your families are, coming together and making things happen. I know it's a hell of a situation out there. And also shout out to the victims in Miami who are dealing with Irma, the Dade County victims. I know it's a hell of a situation, man, and a lot of people are out of power. So whatever we can do, hopefully people will come together, help each other out. I know it's it's a bit rough out there, but keep your heads up, and hope that you guys can make it through. And you guys can have a better day, man. The storm will pass through because it's rough. I'm out here in California, so we're not subject to hurricanes. But I feel for you guys. Want to say thank you to all our fans who have been tuning in, who have made us one of the biggest prison shows on YouTube. We're at over 100,000 subscribers. You guys have really been giving us some good feedback. Also, we look forward to you guys who are tuning into our Instagram and our Twitter, and we also have some new prison spreads coming for you guys. We got, Rod Godbody. Shout out to Rod, Dire Grind. He's got the Rod Godbody Fitness. We did some cooking videos over the weekend, so those will be coming out. Check out our Patreon. We're going to have those coming out with some spreads on there. Check out our website, which is www.FreshOutSeries.com. And we got some cool stuff on there, clothing, hats. We got consulting. If you need to be, privately get a session in with Big Herc, I can lace you up on some game. Also, shout out to the Canadian Prepper. He's got a channel on YouTube. We're doing some collaborations with them, and we're talking about when shit hit the fan, what's going on with the inmates. So we're doing some stuff with him on YouTube. Also, check out, if you have any questions, shoot us an email at FreshOutSeries@gmail.com. And check out our the new yard time. We got yard time jumping off again for all you out there trying to get your swole on, who want a little bit of, get your pump on while you're working out. This pre-workout ain't no joke. So grab you some yard time. It's on our website, www.FreshOutSeries.com. We got Tropical Pruno, Orange Hooch, and we got Watermelon. So check it out. It's going down. The pre-workout's back. Order yours. It's got 40 servings per container, and it's a hell of a deal. So check that out. SoundCloud, we also had that jumping off, which is Fresh Out Series. And want to say shout out to Wifey, who's always had my back. But we're going to make it an open forum today. I know there's a lot of stuff going on in the news, and I'm interested to hear what you guys want to talk about, because sometimes we pick topics and you guys aren't really into the topics, or you have other stuff you want to talk about. But, let me know what's on your mind today. You know what I'm saying? We got an open forum. So if you got some stuff that's not, that's on some cool subject matter, I'll go ahead and answer your questions, or we can go into some dialogue and, enjoy some good conversation. Somebody said, what happens if there's a natural disaster in prison? From what I heard, if there's a natural disaster in prison, a lot of times they'll transfer the inmates to another institution outside of the area that's being affected. I'm not sure as far as if each state has a different policy or if federal is different than the state, but that's what I've heard they were doing down in Alabama and Miami or Florida concerning the inmates down there. Were you in jail when 9/11 happened? Oh yeah, 9/11 today, you guys. I was in jail. I was in Long Park USP, and what they did was anybody who had a terrorist case or an act of terrorism, they sent them to the hole. They basically rounded up everybody in the institution, that had a terrorist case or had a case relating to anything to do with domestic terrorism. They locked him up and they, questioned him, and they had a bunch of bullshit going on. But I was actually in Lompoc, USP when the planes hit the World Trade Center. Somebody says, have I watched 60 Days in Jail? I haven't watched that. I don't watch too many jail shows. I put my show out, but I don't really watch jail shows because it's not, to me, it's just like, the way they depict it. A lot of times it's a lot of bullshit. I've seen the first 48 and motherfuckers be telling within the first 30 seconds, you know what I'm saying? So it ain't like it's a 48, but no, I haven't seen the first 60 days. Somebody said, Big Herc, do you think 9/11 was an inside job? I've seen a lot of videos on 9/11, man. A lot of things in relation to that whole situation. And man, I don't put nothing past the motherfuckers in power. I mean, when that happened, they had passed right through Congress without the people knowing, the Anti-Terrorist Act and a couple other bills that Ashcroft pushed through based on the fear of the public. And 9/11, when you really do the research and you watch what's out there and you hear there were news reports that when the first day they came out, they were never shown again because they told the truth. So, do your research. There's stuff online. I mean, when you think about how the buildings came down, I mean, when you look at, the aircraft, when they showed the aircraft, as far as the lettering on the aircraft that hit the buildings, there's a lot of stuff, man, that doesn't really seem like it was legit, man. As far as it almost seemed like it was staged. And a lot of times, these people have no problems using people who are just collateral damage, to get a point across. Do your research. Germany did the same thing when they wanted to go, create fear among the people so that they can go to war, man. They staged a particular act, The solitary constitute cruel and unusual punishment. Solitary confinement, people file in there, how they treat you in there. Some of the, you're in the hole and the shit they feed you and how you're housed is basically animalistic, You have guys in there who have took off on police, so they really get it, get treated real bad. But you have guys in there just over bullshit that they're trying to break. You know what I mean? And you're not getting medical treatment. It's really poor housing conditions. It's fucked up, man. But a lot of people would say, well, you shouldn't have went to prison. Well, yeah, that sounds good until you're in there over some bullshit, and then you have to deal with the politics of prison. Somebody said we were in Lompoc together. I didn't see that. Pop back up, homie, if you got that in there again. Your wife, get a prison wife who's married to the lifers. So somebody said, ask me, what was the advice I can give to a wife married to a lifer? And somebody asked me, have I interacted with any lifers or anybody on death row? I haven't interacted with anybody who's sitting on death row per se because the feds didn't have, I don't believe, have death row, but they have life, multiple lives. I've been around a lot of lifers, and in the feds, it's fucked up because there's no conjugal visits. Your visits, you could barely touch each other. The feds ain't like the state where you can be, you have the intimacy, and you're very limited. It's just as far as what you can do, as far as with your family or with your wife. So, lifers in the feds, I mean, and, a woman supporting that person, just file, help that person try to get an appeal. If there's action or trying to get out, do all you can do, you can, so that you can try to get your man home. That's my best advice. What's up, Big Herc? Can you talk about the guy who wanted to fight you for going to the law library? Yeah. I think I mentioned to you guys before um, that I used to go to law library a lot. You know, that was my way of kind of like, spending my time, exercising my mind. And I used to go every day. Every day I would go to law library in the mornings, and then afternoons I'd go work out. And that was my routine. And then I'd go back to the law library in the evenings. And so I spent probably 6 hours a day in the law library, 4 to 6 hours a day. And, dude used to get, there was a cat, he'd get mad at me because he had nothing going on and he was very ignorant. And so even though he had the same opportunity I had, he wanted to, he confronted me about going and studying because I was looking for a way out because he wasn't looking for a way out. So he actually was like, man, just do your time. And I told him, nigga, do your time. You know what I'm saying? Don't worry about the fuck I'm doing. Do your motherfucking time. And, we almost had to knuckle up because this motherfucker was just that fucking stupid. You got a lot of ignorant, and this was a brother, another black man, mad at me because I'm trying to educate myself while he's hanging out on the yard, getting into shit, telling war stories. That wasn't me. I didn't have time for war stories in prison. I was trying to get the fuck out. Somebody asked me what bank I robbed, and has anyone from my bank robbery tried to threaten or sue since I've been out? Nobody's trying to threaten or sue. As far as since I've been out, my co-defendant, both of the co-defendants I had in my case are dead. One of them got shot by LAPD. The other one died from natural causes. Got sick and died. And I'm the surviving last person in that bank robbery situation. So I'm very grateful. Wells Fargo Bank. You know what I'm saying? But you can check out my story. It's check out my prison talk interview. I talk about the bank robbery and I talk about how I rehabilitated myself while I was in prison. Somebody said, am I going to do any more stories with ex-inmates? Yeah, I just did one. Suave Triple X. He just did an interview for us. And that dropped about 2 weeks ago, so check out his interview on Fresh Out. And we have another one coming up. We got Numbskull from the Loonies. He dropped an interview. That should be coming up real soon. I got another interview scheduled that I'm going to be doing. And we're going to try to drop interviews for you guys continually. Probably every 2 to 4 weeks, we're going to drop an interview. Somebody said, do I have a account at Wells Fargo? It's funny you say that because when I got out, one of my conditions of my probation was I had to have a bank account. So I actually had to have a bank account for to be able to have my probation be legit. So it was kind of weird going back into Wells Fargo after I had robbed the joint. You know what I mean? But in the state of mind I was in then and now, it's not even a comparison. I would never entertain that. It's not enough. It's no money, man. It's like the what you focus on and what I thought was money is not money no more. I've seen that money 100 times since I've been out, and it's not no money. You know what I mean? So I would never advise anybody to rob a bank, or I would never even entertain somebody talking about robbing a bank because I know they're just on some. Their mental capacity is not very high if they're talking about robbing a bank. In today's day and age, you make more money buying and selling Bitcoin. Fuck robbing a bank. Big Herc, my man, can you say hi to me? My name is Mattia. What's up with it? If you had never got to prison time, you had never got the show. True that. So, but at the same time, going to prison didn't guarantee me the show. I had to, think outside the box when I got out to do something positive. So, I mean, it's what you did with your time. If I were to spend all my time on the yard, running around playing basketball, softball, gambling, bullshitting, I wouldn't be where I was today right now because I wouldn't have had the foresight and I wouldn't have had my mind right. So that's a big thing when you go to prison, is knowing what to do with your time. Somebody said, can you survive without commissary? Yeah, you don't. I didn't go to commissary much. I had other people going for me though, because I had a hustle in prison. Like I said, I was in a law library all the time, so I used to do a lot of legal work, a lot of typing for people, a lot of research, and I would charge guys. So in any given month, I would have 2 or 3 people going to the commissary for me. So I would get at least $100 worth of commissary a month. And I also have people stealing food from the kitchen. I would buy food from them. The paisas in there, I'd buy meat, chicken, vegetables from them. So, yeah, man, you know, you can survive without going to the commissary. It's got to be about your hustle. If you were a hustler on the street, you got to be a hustler in the pen. You ever seen a CO? Have you ever seen a CO get beat? When I was at Rampart, there was a CO, and he used to talk a lot of shit, and he would wreck with guys. He would tell guys like, hey, man, you know what I'm saying? Fuck you, what's up, blah, blah, blah. You're a buster, this and that. You're a mark. He would talk shit. So, you know, occasionally he would take his belt off. And on one time, he took his belt off, and he was in the kitchen talking shit, and him and the inmate got down, and the inmate was whooping that ass, and he couldn't hit the deuces because he didn't have his belt on. So yeah, man, you know, some guards do get down with inmates, and they'll, you know, they'll go head up. But like I said, this guy took his belt off. Inmate got to digging in that ass. He was trying to run, and you know, the other guard happened to hear the pots and pans and came running in there, and basically was like, what's going on? And you know, he hit the deuces. But at that point, they couldn't really say anything because the guard had took his belt off. So the inmate wasn't at fault. Somebody else said, did you ever have to split anyone's wig? Nah, I had to slap the shit out of somebody, but didn't have to split too many wigs up in there. My whole thing was when I was in prison, man, was outthinking the motherfuckers around me. It's a chess game, man. You got guys in there, they're miserable. Some guys are pieces of shit. You got some good people. You try to find the good people, and you try to avoid all the bullshit, and, you know, elevate yourself, man, so when you get out, you could be about your paper. And that's what I did. I surrounded myself about, you know, I surrounded myself around people who were business orientated, who had, you know, a certain amount of knowledge, and I tried to learn from them. You know, I became a student in prison, and I educated myself. I wasn't in there trying to act like I was the hardest motherfucker, or I did this and did that. That was a waste of time for me. I was trying to avoid people like that. I was trying to educate myself at as much business as possible. Somebody asked me how to start a Bitcoin. You don't start a Bitcoin, you invest in Bitcoin. It's the future as far as investing, man. If you're not hip to cryptocurrencies, check out the game. I mean, you know what I'm saying? It's still early in it, and you can make a lot of money. But, you know what I'm saying? I'm not a, you know, financial advisor, so I can't tell you what to do with your money. But, you know, there's a lot of ways to get paid out here, and cryptocurrencies is one of them. And Bitcoin, yeah, right now is at $4,200 a share. You know, you could probably buy a piece of a Bitcoin, but there's other cryptocurrencies that you can acquire that are still fairly cheap that you can invest in that'll make you a lot of money. So you got to just do your research, you know, go online, start looking up cryptocurrencies, look on YouTube, and there's a lot of information out there, but educate yourself, man. Let me see, somebody said, truly happy now. Somebody said, would you say you're truly happy now? Everything you accomplished, consider everything you went through. Yeah, I would say I'm very happy. You know, there's a lot of things I still want to accomplish, and I'm never content. I'm never complacent, but I am happy. I'm happy. I got a great family support with the wifey. You know what I'm saying? I got, you know, a roof over my head. I got food. I can go eat at Ruth's Chris any night I want to. I got some good dudes I did time with that, you know, I'm out with now. We chop it up. You know, the homie Fields Transportation. You know what I'm saying? They had a barbecue with him. Shout out to the homie X. You know what I'm saying? Good dude. Shout out to the homie, you know, little buddy. You know, shout out to Chef V. You know, I got some good dudes around me. So I got, you know, people that I linked up with while I was in prison that I'm able to share now success with and what I'm doing on the street with. So, you know, I got 4 or 5 cars. I mean, a nice house. I'm not tripping. Life is great, man. No complaints. And like I said, I use prison to my advantage, man. I don't advocate going to prison, but not everybody's experience is going to be the same. You know, I took advantage of my experience. You know, somebody said, what kind of investing do I do? I've invested in old school muscle cars. I've invested in, commodities. I have some silver, gold, cryptocurrencies. I haven't really got into property. I'm more or less, business and assets. As far as like I said, commodities and stuff like that. But there's a lot of things you can invest in, man. You got to find something you like doing. Like with the muscle cars, I've invested in a car in particular, and I'm about to flip the car for 6 figures. You know what I'm saying? It was a long-term investment. I mean, a lot of people will say, well, was it a great investment? I had fun with it. I enjoyed it. But I'm about to flip the Chevelle. I'm about to move on to something else. I'm about to, triple that money. So, it wasn't something I got overnight. And a lot of time, the hustles that you make the most money aren't the hustles that you make that you flip daily. It's the hustles that you think 5 years down the line. You know what I'm saying? So there's a lot of hustles out there, but you got to start small, man. I mean, the first car I bought when I got out, I paid, I think, was $1,000 for it. You know what I mean? And then from there, I just kept, flipping cars. I was doing personal training, a lot of different things, man. But you got to be, you got to be a hustler. Ain't nobody gonna give you shit out here. It's all about where you want to be in life, man, and how you see yourself. What type of vision. If you see yourself in being a Honda Accord, that's what you're gonna max out as, in a Honda Accord. If you see yourself, having a private jet, driving a Bugatti, then you can have that. There's no limits. It's all about what you envision. So you gotta envision. You gotta think big, and you gotta think out the box, and you gotta just be about your business, man. Somebody asked me, somebody asked me, first of all, they asked me about, am I upset I don't never own a gun? And what about would you kill in self-defense? If somebody tried to hurt me or my family, I'm going to split their wig. Plain and simple. You know what I'm saying? Self-defense, it is what it is, but I'm not gonna let a motherfucker whoop my ass, you know what I'm saying, or do anything to me or my people. I'm not a buster like that. As far as me worried about, not having a strap, I'm not worried about that. I know how to handle my business, and if a situation comes, I know how to handle a situation. But it is what it is. Somebody says, "How's investing work? Any books that you can recommend to read?" As far as you can go online. Look at what's going on right now. Like I said, the cryptocurrencies is big. You know what I'm saying? You can find a lot of information online about the history of cryptocurrencies. You can Google and look up a lot of the stuff and a lot of these forums. As far as the car game, I've been fucking with cars since I was, 18, 19. So, that's something that I've learned over the years. And I'm not a mechanic, but I know value. I know how to take, $1 and make 5. So, you got to just know value in things, But there's a lot of things you can get involved in. The cannabis industry is popping right now. There's a lot of money in that if you know what you're doing on that. That's not my thing, so I don't fuck with it. But, cars, cryptocurrency, invest in some platinum or silver, hard assets. If the money inflation hits, your gold and platinum is going to be worth a lot of money. So, look to diversify yourself, man. So long term, you can create your own retirement. They always say too, as far as, before you buy, rent. So, rent where you live, and basically, rent where you live, and whatever you buy, rent that out. So you can rent your place, but have whatever you're buying become an income property. That way you can make your money, man. Always whatever you have, even if you have like my old schools, I rent them out for music videos. You know what I'm saying? Everything's a hustle. You know what I mean? So you got to be about your hustle, man. And you gotta always think about where your next dollar is gonna come from, and then create you a business. Like Fresh Out, we've been building this brand for 5 years now. So I'm saying we built a brand, but it didn't happen overnight. Yeah, bad thing about the weed. I hear you. You can't be in it if you're an ex-felon, but you have friends though. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm talking about. You got to know how to think around the curve, man. You know what I'm saying? There's always a way where you can make money if you want to. A lot of these guys getting out of prison, you know what I'm saying, they're getting paper, and their names, you know what I'm saying, ain't on shit, and there's ways to do things and, be consultants and not be tied up. So it's all about who you know, man. I know some guys who are hollering at, politicians, political figures, and they're able to still make moves happen, even though they are ex-felons. And somebody said, do I script these? Nah, the open forum chats are not scripted. I just kind of go off the top of my head and entertain you guys as far as whatever questions you ask. Somebody said, can I interview Master P's brother, C Murder? I wish I could, man. I don't know C Murder's situation. I know he was still locked down in Louisiana. It'd be great to get some rappers on here. I would love to get Lil Boosie or Gucci Man or T.I. or, some of these other guys who have been through the system to get their opinion on just, doing time. Because it's different for everybody, man. I mean, some dudes, if you're a big-time D-boy and you go to prison, your time is different than the guy who maybe is a bank robber who all his money got confiscated when he got arrested. You know what I mean? It's different. So everybody, and depending on what you were doing on the street, what type of dude you were, who you were connected with, it's all, time ain't the same for a motherfucker who, was a credit card guy compared to a guy maybe who was white collar. It's all about resources. You know what I'm saying? So, for me, I was able to mingle with a lot of different people, so I was able to kind of spread my wings and get game from a lot of individuals because I knew how to talk to people, and motherfuckers know I was a cool dude. So that opened up a lot of doors for me, and I was hollering at dudes from the East Coast and West Coast, But somebody said about what are the biggest in prison. Now, they have some big motherfuckers in prison. Somebody says, Big Herc, what's your opinion of political groups using violence to progress their agenda? For one, going around protesting or, using racial chants or whatever the case may be, it's a waste of time, man. And a lot of times I tell you, man, those groups have already been infiltrated by people within the system anyways. And they're the ones getting them to provoke that so they can pass another law. All that shit is a smokescreen. I would never take off work to go stand down somewhere with a sign talking shit. It's a waste of time. You want to make something happen? Get your ass in the book, study, educate yourself, and, make a move like that. That'll allow you to think outside the box and to get around a lot of these negative people, these trolls who got dildos in their butts, who like to get on here and talk shit. That'll get you around all of them because, you'll see them coming. As soon as you see them doing that little walk like this, the little trolls or the haters or the racists, they got a butt plug in their butt. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. Rob Locks, Gamer2317, that's you, buddy. You know what I'm saying? You're a hell of a dude with that little butt plug in. Trolls get your wig split. You motherfuckers is a joke, man. I've never seen so many motherfuckers get on the internet and talk shit. I'd never talk shit behind a motherfucker's back. I always used to say it in person. It's not even worth talking otherwise. You know what I'm saying? Do prison documentaries alter the way inmates behave? That to say, I kind of missed that question. Didn't catch the other one. Robinson kind of killed 5 people. Was killed in 2015. The Cavs playing Batman in the yard. Somebody said, somebody else said something about what's the solution for us as a black community to stop the mass incarceration. The solution for the black community is education. Education, man. I realized the more educated I became in prison, the less likely I was to engage in ignorant ass shit. You think better. If you're educated, and not to say you still want to do dumb shit, but you look at things differently. You'll calculate maybe 5 other alternatives to a solution rather than just jumping on the first thing that pops in your mind. And education it's been known, it elevates communities. If you can speak a second language, if you can do mathematics, if you can translate other languages, or if you know science, it opens up doors, man. I mean, so education among the black community is the key. And if you look at your likeliness for success, if you're educated, man, it increases greatly. You know, not to say there's people that make it out the ghetto, but your education and being exposed to different environments, it changes your life. You know, that makes the biggest difference. And that's what I think is hurting the community the most. And that's why there's not a lot of money. They're pumping all the money in the fucking prisons because they don't want to educate them. Because they get educated, they'll stop doing a lot of that shit they're doing. And they'll maybe do things that are totally legit, that are way beyond what the criminal aspect is. And these prisons are empty. And these motherfuckers who are these slave owners, they won't be able to make money off the prisons no more because their fucking stock will plummet. So they don't want to educate a lot of you guys. They want to keep you in the dark. So when you go and you do something, you don't know what the fuck's going on, and they can put a felony on your record. What have you heard about prisons? What have I heard about prisons in other countries? Not a whole lot. What I did research was like in Denmark and Sweden, the recidivism over there is very low. They're closing down a lot of their prisons, and the inmates are just treated totally different, man. I mean, the amount of time you get for murder is nothing like what nothing like what we have over here. And especially the Danish countries, they have the rehabilitation programs are serious. They do a lot more rehabilitation. It's just a different outlook on society when you go to like a lot of those countries. So yeah, prisons now, you go to China, somewhere like that, or Puerto Rico. I mean, like Brazil or some of them countries, it's fucked up. You know what I mean? It's every man for themselves. Mexican prisons is fucked up. But, some of the, like I said, the more Danish, higher economic bracket European countries is totally different. You know what I mean? But, the best thing to do is stay the fuck out of prison. Stay the fuck out, man. Somebody said, I appreciate the feedback, but how do you start your own road to success? How do you hustle? I want more. How do I begin? Well, you got to be, a hustler's got to be, everybody's not a hustler. Some people just need to be told what to do. But, if you're a hustler, you'll know, like, from inside of you what you got to do, what kind of moves you can make. I mean, hustling ain't something you could teach somebody. Either you have it in you or you don't. And you got to come up with ideas and things that you think that you enjoy doing that you can monetize, whether it be art, drawing, or whether it be working on cars, or whether it be painting or construction or real estate or, science, engineering. You got to find something. And hustling don't mean that you're actually on the street. Hustler can be, working for a corporation, becoming a private employee, a private contractor. There's a lot of things you could do in the corporate world, and you can still be hustling. You might go to a 9-to-5, but it's not a 9-to-5 per se because you're an independent employee. So, there's a lot of hustles out there, man. You gotta get out there and put yourself in the mix. Somebody said, what do I think about, somebody said, if you come up broke, it comes naturally. Yeah, you got to break the cycle, man. Thought me bring camera, Bill Coffee. Yeah, man. There's a lot of things you could do with yourself out there, man. If you apply yourself, a lot of people just don't want to think outside the box, or they limit themselves to a very small, vision. It's just a lot of, it wastes a lot of energy. Have I ever had any stories or encounters with prison gangs? Yeah, I talk about that on the thing. I mean, but it's like, I don't get off on those little stories, man, because that shit's so, prison gangs and the stories and shit. I mean, dude, I'd rather talk about a motherfucker who went to Europe, went to, south of France and was over there balling and, going to the casino, enjoying life and traveling. I don't want to hear about a motherfucking some old ghetto shit, man. I had enough ghetto experiences in my life to last, 10 lifetimes. So as far as a lot of the stories that were, I heard dudes talking about, I really didn't even join in. It wasn't worth it to me, man. I didn't get off on that shit. Somebody said, did I ever suffer from depression when I was in a joint? If so, how did I overcome it? I did a lot of meditation. I didn't get any visits the whole time I was in federal prison. I didn't have any outside communication. I had a couple good dudes that would, tell me about their experiences when they went out to the visiting hall and how they interact with their families. And I would envision myself having that same experience. And so that's how I dealt with a lot of the bullshit I was going through mentally. And I just elevated my consciousness, man. And I didn't let it drag me down. I didn't get involved in drugs or, busting cheeks or just the gambling, the bullshit, the vices in there. I used the lack of visitation to motivate me to when I got out, I'd be successful as shit. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I did with my time. You know what I'm saying? I just basically elevated my mental game, man. And that, I was never sitting around depressed. Initially when I got to the Lompoc USP, I used to try to sleep your time off, and you can't do that, man. You got to get you a program. Once I got into the law library and started studying and got a program, man, my time, I had a purpose, Somebody said some of my altcoins, Neo, XFG, XVG, Pay. Yeah, I'm hip to that. I got some Pay and some Neo, you know what I'm saying, and some MCO. Cryptocurrencies, y'all. Get hip, man. Invest your money, let it sit, and build your retirement up. You know what I'm saying? A lot of opportunities with the cryptocurrencies, but you got to do your own research because I'm not a financial advisor. Big Herc, what do you think about people that are attracted to the gangster lifestyle? I think they're disillusioned. There is no gangster lifestyle no more. You know what I mean? When I was growing up, the motherfuckers that were really gangsters, they weren't running around with pink dreadlocks or purple hair or, skinny jeans. They weren't wearing, makeup and nothing like that. The niggas I grew up around, hard penitentiary ass motherfuckers, with perms, cornrows, 21-inch arms, wife beaters, dickies, honcho boots. These were niggas, man, that will fucking look at you hella crazy and they seen fear in their eye, they call you a punk. So, those are the niggas I looked up to, niggas that had, cutlasses on D's, selling big dope, hustling, shooting dice, lifting weights at the park. And, I thought, hey, man, that was something, And then you had the mobsters that you looked up to, the Italian gangsters, but these ain't no gangsters no more, man. The gangsters are in the corporate boardroom. The gangsters are the motherfuckers, the nerds who are killing it in the tech industry, who are making money in, business, import, export. Those are the gangsters. The gangsters you see on the street ain't shit, man. A motherfucker who got a little pistol, who run around talking shit. What's the point? Nigga, you shoot somebody telling you get life. That's what you want? I mean, if that's what you want, more power to you, but that shit, I would tell a youngster in a minute, man, fuck that, man. If you want to be around 1,000 butt cheeks for the rest of your life and have somebody look in your asshole, squatting and coughing and all that bullshit, and then, hey, that by all means, but I would never advise anybody to look up to a motherfucking, dude on the street who ain't doing shit, who's not educated, and who has no goals or ambition. If anything, those OGs need to be lacing these youngsters on how to stay out of prison and how to go and, get them a trade or something so that they could be successful. You know what I'm saying? I'm cool, bro. I don't want to have to, every time I have to ride the fucking chain gang and get shackled and, have a motherfucker look in your asshole every time you go somewhere and lift your ball sack up. Some old gay shit, man. I'm cool, man. I don't want to be, that shit is horrible. Eating fucked up food because you're hungry, being locked down. Man, prison is a fucked up, that gangster shit is a fucked up illusion. And once you get up in there, the hardest niggas that talk all that shit behind closed doors, they wish they can go to fuck home. You know what I mean? They wish instead of shooting that nigga, maybe they would have caught a fade. They would have thundered with that nigga. Because killing a motherfucker and getting caught and going to prison is not worth it, man. You know what I'm saying? It ain't worth it to be caught up in bullshit just because you trying to be a hard-ass nigga. Fuck that, man. You know what I'm saying? Be on the street where you can get some pussy, nigga. Get your fuck on. You know what I'm saying? Take care of your kids. Be a role model for your fucking kids, man. That's what life's about. You know what I'm saying? Taking care of your family. Some always says something about eating and shit, man. You know, you gotta, check out the spreads. You know, I got a couple workout videos on the channel. I talk a little bit about nutrition, but, for the most part, man, I've been working out since I was 14. Since I went to juvenile hall, I've been hitting the weights. You know what I'm saying? I've always been on some nutrition type shit, and I just try to take care of my health, man. But, enjoy life on the streets, man. Ain't nothing, the prison shit, man, it's just some stupid ass shit, man, and you're around a bunch of ignorant, racist motherfuckers, and, there's only a handful of people in there who are trying to do something positive, So, yeah, man, I'm going to try to go ahead and do the shout outs for everybody, man, you know what I'm saying, and let me know where you're from, and I'll get you some rep in, you know what I'm saying. So if you got a shout out, go ahead and, drop that thing, and I'll go ahead and rep your city or your state. Shout out to Cleveland. Shout out to North Highlands, my hometown. Shout out to Idaho. Shout out to Guam. Shout out to 216. Shout out to San Diego. Shout out to Anaheim. Shout out to Tampa Bay, Florida. Chicago. Ventura County, Germany. Vancouver. Shout out to San Bernardino. Shout out to the Philippines. Shout out to Ireland. Shout out to Montana. Bloomington, Illinois. South Carolina. Placentia. Zurich. Shout out to San Quentin. Shout out to the 616. Shout out to the UK, the North Bay, Ontario, Blake Island, London, Germany, LAC, Alabama. Shout out to Houston, Texas. Shout out to Belgrade. Shout out to Wales. Shout out to Atlantic City. Shout out to DC. Shout out to Germany. Shout out to 714. Shout out to Columbia. Shout out to Syracuse, New York, Inglewood, Orange County, Las Vegas, the 630, the 863. New Bern, North Carolina, the DC 530. Shout out to OKB, Florida. Shout out to Los Angeles. Shout out to the Bay Area. Shout out to Bayshore, New York. Shout out to New Hampshire. Brimbeck City. Shout out to 863. Shout out to Riverside. Shout out to Detroit, to the 604. I think I said 714. Shout out to everybody. Shout out to Taiwan. Shout out to Hackney. Reno, 775. Lakewood, Washington. Diego again. Toronto. Cleveland, Ohio. Boyle Heights. New York City. Long Island, 305. Shout out to everybody who tunes in, man. Shout out to Vancouver, Edinburgh, Phoenix, Arizona, Queensland, Australia. Shout out to everybody who supports, who puts down the good questions, who emails us, and shout out for y'all who be getting on these trolls on here, because I really like when y'all get off on the trolls, because they some some little weenies and shit. You know what I mean? They call them in prison. They be called cell soldiers. They talk a bunch of shit in a cell. They crack the doors. Niggas is quiet as church mouses. You can't even hear them. You know what I mean? You can hear a mouse piss on cotton before you hear these niggas. So yeah, man. Everybody who be getting on them trolls, shout out to you. And yeah, man. Try not to split too many wigs this week. But if you got some female cheeks, go ahead and bust some cheeks out for them females. If you're a coochie assassin, get you a shirt at FreshOutSeries.com. If you wig splitting time, we got the t-shirts on the site, www.FreshOutSeries.com. Shoot us a question at FreshOutSeries@gmail.com. And we love y'all, man. We're going to keep it real. And we got some great interviews coming up. We got some good prison talks coming up. And we're also going to have some more prison spreads with Rod God Body. Shout out to all y'all. Keep tuning in. And I'll be at y'all next week, man. I'm out.